Hello and welcome to the Legendarium Green Team Malazan series. I'm Hurinfan and I'm here with Ashaman.
Hey.
We are the veterans and we'll be spoiling literally everything that we know, which includes Karkanis and a lot of the Ashaman stuff. So if you haven't read it, go away. Uh, it's really kind of a informal, non-structured style. Let us know what you think because I'm really insecure about it. So, did you have anything what you want to talk about first?
Well, the first thing that popped into my head when thinking about this discussion last night was we get our
Put a lot of
first
thought into it, did you?
we got our first view of a Four Rule Sail in this book, and I don't know about you, but the Four Rule Sail always kind of freaked me out. The concept of them having too many joints is unnerving. Just trying to like reason out how that would look to me, like it's kind of like Lovecraftian in a sense, um because you can't like really wrap your mind around it easily, or at least I can't. And what I get is always like distinctly, I don't know, they're the most alien feeling race in the series to me.
I could change them all.
More than Ka-Change Ultimate for me, because Ka-Change are just like lizards, right? But we don't really have any analog to Fork Sail.
I just imagine tall white people with weird chests and extra elbows and knees.
A lot of extra elbows. Oh god.
Yeah, you said that. I actually don't remember. When did we see a fork roll sail?
In Tremorlor, when they come upon the dead guardian.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do remember that now.
Yeah, it's not a living one. And we won't see a living one until House of Chains, when Karsa unleashes one upon the world.
I
But
wonder what happened to that one in the Tremor house.
yeah, right? I guess it's never explained. Like maybe it just died of old age. I don't know. I don't know if things can die of old age in the dead. Yeah, the Azath houses even.
Speaking of Tremolor, those talking suit of armor, we don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
Uh, I think penned on the episode, she's like, "Man, we got this weird armor, and they're just getting all this." I'm like, "Yeah, you're never gonna see those again." I think they're mentioned again, but that's it.
Oh, maybe we'll have to ask Steve about it.
Ooh,
Or
well, we
Steven.
can't.
We can't? No?
Well, I mean, that's kind of spoilers, right? You can't
Oh,
be like,
that's
"Hey,
that's
why
true.
that?
That's true.
Why
Yeah.
didn't this come up again?"
Yeah. hmm We also get in this book the start of the plot line that I'm most interested in that hasn't been resolved yet. The Shattered Warren, curled Emerlon,
Hmm.
and I am excited about Walk in Shadow to say the least, because I think it's probably going to happen there, but who knows?
I think it involves the Ka-Change Ball somehow, but I have no idea.
Oh
I have
wait,
no.
is it shattered? Is it shattered by the time Silchus and the Teist Eater invade Wu?
I don't remember.
Okay. I will be paying attention to that when we reread Midnight
I
Tides.
I, I think it was already
Okay.
like in the Midnight Tides prologue. I think it was always shattered. If it wasn't that, maybe some crazy Jagged magic. I got no idea. I'm
Oh.
sorry, everybody listening. Ashman just woke up and I'm about to go to bed.
Perks to living on opposite sides of the world.
Hmm. Let's see. Some cool details that stood out to me is in the beginning of the book there's the prophecy that Duiker saw,
hmm
and it says the woman whose shape is fire, and another figure who's in chains. So the figure in chains is Felicin. The woman in fire is obviously the whirlwind goddess, which I think is the first clue that the whirlwind goddess is Imas. So I thought that was really cool.
Oh, yeah, that would be, wouldn't it? Because we don't really get much from the Whirlwind Goddess in this book, at least. That's
Yeah, we learned a lot from Onrak, I think, from House Chains.
yeah. Yeah, Honorak is our main window into that, which
And they,
totally came out of left field to me, but it worked well.
Yeah, you just like who is this Moss? And yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Hmm.
I'm this might be blasphemy, but I'm actually not the biggest on-rack troll fan. Like I like them, they're fine, but like it seems like the fandom is just in love with troll. I'm
I
more.
am in love with Troll.
Well, there you
he is
go.
my he is my favorite character, but on Rack, I don't know. He's just kind of like a worse tool to me.
For the talking tool dynamic.
Yeah,
Well,
I do too.
going back to that prophecy, the same thing. They said two fountains raging blood face to face. The blood is the same. The two are the same, and salty waves shall wash the shores of Raraku. The holy desert remembers its past, which is just telling the exact thing that will happen in House of Chains. And I'm looking forward to telling uh, Panda and Yasna about that.
House of Chains has a really weird climax, but one that I appreciate more in retrospect.
It's probably my least favorite book, but it's also the book that has so much background information that's just like that makes you salivate when you think about like the lore.
Hmm.
There's more December talk, and I had no idea early that December. I mean, the last episode we did like this, we're like, oh yeah, December and Dassam sound like and look the same.
Hmm.
But I think Fiddler literally says that December was the cult of Dassam, which just flew over my head my first time through.
My God, I didn't even read that this time.
It was chapter 11. Uh,
Interesting.
did you notice? It was one of Iskar Pust's early scenes, and he was talking about his childhood,
Hmm.
and he said he was tottering around in Aunt Tula's yard.
Huh.
Do you remember
No,
it
wow.
too?
I'm just apparently not paying close enough attention to these books. It's probably because I read them all, like all the segments in about 4 hours.
Do you remember Tula's character in Carcanos?
No.
Uh, give me a moment. She was an older lady, I think. I believe she was the one that all three of the called the brothers, they'd all slept with her, and eventually Grip Gallus. Oh yeah, it was that lady.
Hmm.
All three brothers had slept with her, and she was really beautiful, and she was really self-conscious about like people not loving her, and she gave away herself too much. But then Grip Gallus and she got together. I like that story.
Yes, I remember her now.
So it could just be, a coincidence, but I mean, you never know. Maybe she's related to this girl Bust.
What an encouraging thought.
uh, we got the introduction to the Jade Giants in this book, which
Yep.
I don't know about you, which are still confusing for me.
I slipped up and said there was multiple in one of the recordings. I felt really bad about that in retrospect.
We've both made a few slip ups.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I didn't slip up, and I know I was messaging you during this time, but literally any time that Yasna talks about what's that Imasa's name that quote sacrificed himself.
Yes. I was biting my tongue so hard. I was just trying to fill the air with words about him. Like I think there is a lot to be said about. I think he would have sacrificed himself if he had to, but yeah,
So he he grabs some head
yeah.
and just he's just so moved by his selflessness, and I'm just like, well,
Hmm.
you shouldn't be.
Sleight of hand,
Like just
and it's
and
like it's right there too.
it's right there. Like I even caught
Hmm.
it on my first time, and Christian's a much
Yeah, same.
Yasta's a much closer reader than I was my first time.
I was speaking of things that are right there. I am somewhat surprised that they didn't get the Tavor as a Talon thing, given how we discussed Bowden being a Talon at length. Because
Mm.
when I read the story at first, I kind of just I just absorbed that Talons were a thing, and then I moved on. but I never actually thought about why Tavor would actually be able to command a Talon. And guess what? It's because she's a Talon herself.
I think it runs in the family.
Maybe, but why
Like,
wouldn't Peron know? Like Ganos,
because
sorry.
he left the family pretty young. Plus, she's a lot more capable than he is.
She is so cool. I love Tavor. I'm so excited to read Tavor again.
I actually have that quote. She says, "At Felison studied Bowden. Talon. What's my sister got to do with some secret sect of revivalists still clinging to the memory of the Emperor dancer? Why not use a claw, unless she needed to work outside anyone else's knowledge?" And this is one of the early hints that Tavor's link with uh, Dancer and Kellenved.
Mm-hmm.
It just
There
makes
aren't
so much
many,
sense
but
on book 10.
there's
Yeah,
there.
there's almost none.
Mm-hmm.
There's like one in book 2, and we're supposed to remember that. Or we're supposed to not remember it, I suppose.
Speaking of the claw, this, in my opinion, is the first instance of what would become a trend of the claw losing every single thing they engage in.
The claw sucks.
The claw is so bad.
I mean, Topper's great. Topper's pretty cool. But it seems like everyone below Pearl is just useless.
Yeah, they're just there to die. They all have red shirts on. They go in and they fail at everything they try. I mean, they also fail in Gardens of the Moon, but that's just because Animander is set up against them, right? And you can't
Should we
really
ask
blame them
Steve
for that.
about that? Like, why are the claws so incompetent?
Well, that'd be the another spoiler, I guess.
Would it?
Maybe I don't
What?
know. Implying that they'd be incompetent in the future, but I don't know.
Okay, yeah, maybe stay away.
But yeah, I am really curious as to whether he meant for them to be like that.
Mm.
I mean, Lazine is really cool.
Yeah, I have a feeling that she
She is.
could take down almost everybody.
Mm-hmm. Given what we see in Return of the Crimson Guard, absolutely. But we never see that. How cool would a confrontation between Lazine and Kalam be? That would be awesome. I don't know who would win.
Probably Kalam. I mean,
Maybe.
nobody's gonna mess with Kalam. See, I think Topper could probably take down Lazine.
You think so?
Mm.
I
I
think
mean,
Lazine is probably like the most technically skilled hand-to-hand fighter that we see.
maybe I'll have to go back to when we saw her in the Return of the Crimson Guard.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think when we get to what book? Bone Hunters. I'm gonna recommend our listeners actually listen to or to read Return of the Crimson Guard, because while the rest of the Esselmont books are kind of in its own world, that one feels directly connected on like the other ones don't.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Return of the Crimson Guard it's also, I don't know, it's kind of inconsistently written in terms of quality, but it
I agree.
does like the
It's a
end
little
especially is
bloated.
very good.
The end is great, especially Malacrol getting his.
Oof.
Well, I shouldn't say that. I like the part where Malacrol has to like acknowledge that the Wiccans are like awesome, but
Hmm.
and like acknowledge them. But I hate the fact that he's
He gets whatever
yeah.
he wanted. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
In retrospect, I'm just mad at Dwicker because if he had just told people what had happened and like got the story out, then maybe the Wiccan propaganda wouldn't have gone so far. Maybe Malik Rel wouldn't have been able to, weasel his way out of captivity.
do you think?
Because Dwicker is the imperial historian, right? So his word is the official word, but he never writes down the goddamn story. So
Yeah,
Malagrel and Corbola Dom just get to spread whatever lies they want and completely get away with it because the only guy who was there who could have contradicted them was busy
everybody,
moping in a tavern in Darujistan.
everyone thought he was dead too.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're probably right. I never thought about it. I mean, eventually he did get the story out, right? Thanks to Fisher.
eventually.
Yeah,
Really
but by
much too
then
late.
the Wiggins had already been welcomed into the embrace the Empire, right?
Hmm.
kind of. I mean, a lot of that fallout still is there, and a lot of prejudice was still around.
Absolutely.
Did you ever? I forgot. Was Baby Coltane in?
Return of the Crimson Guard, yeah.
Okay.
And probably going to make a much larger appearance in The God Is Not Willing. Very excited about that.
Oh, I never considered that. Yeah, oh god, that has to happen.
Yep.
That has to happen. Oh, what if it doesn't? I'll be so disappointed.
It's got it, right? Like,
I mean, Karsa's not even in the book.
Kars is not in the book, but like in terms of godlike people, Coltane is like right up there with Karsa. Just in terms of like how people venerate him.
I'm really interested to see how, like, what the masses, like, on Seven Cities, the people that killed Coltane start worshiping the guy, and he's
Mhm.
not really dead. So I'm really interested to see where that goes.
How he deals with it, yeah.
But Coltane
Mm.
or Steven?
Both, I guess.
Okay, I was thinking Steven. Yeah, so we get a lot of First Empire stuff, and
Yes.
still impossible to piece that stuff together.
Mm-hmm. It really okay. I'm really curious as to how the Soul Taken and Divers actually got started
Who?
because okay, I would think that the first instance of them would be a dragon soul taken from drinking the blood of TM,
Him?
but I don't know. Like, is it meaningfully different to have a soul taken that's not of Starville Demoline? Are the rest of them like all feeding from one warren, or what
Well,
is going on with them?
the first Soul Taken were probably Bonecasters, because all Bonecasters are Soul Taken, and the Talon Warren and the Beast Warren are somehow like primordially linked, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the First Empire kind of was built on the ashes, so to speak, of the Talani Mas First Empire, which we also know next to nothing about.
Yeah.
And the First Empire was taken down by the Talani Mas because they just didn't like them using their names. How dare you call yourself the First Empire? We're the First Empire.
Also, wasn't the first empire Calors or
Is that the First Empire? I think I don't know if that was
I
ever
don't
named.
I have no clue. But we do get the impression, or I get the impression from reading Carcanus that Calor is already around and is ruling an empire.
That is
But
true.
at that time, yeah, at that time, the Talani Mas are just the dog runners,
Hmm.
and they're not undead. I don't know
You know,
what's going on. Maybe that's
ti-
blind Galen poetic license.
that's just Steven Erickson being Steven Erickson.
Could be.
'Cause I don't know if it's going to happen because we see the sword being forged in the Carcanus books too. And then when have you read the prologue again already for Memories of Ice?
No.
Okay, well, they go talk to Calor, and Calor curses the three Zathani,
Mm-hmm.
and Draconis is like, well, I am making a sword. I already know this, and I imagine at the end in Walk of Shadow he finishes the sword. So maybe sometime in between those books he's visited Calor. To
That's a
our
good
understanding,
question.
because I mean, timelines mean nothing in this universe, and it's just us, making up stuff to make ourselves feel better, right?
Mm, yeah, I have many questions about Draconis.
Like what?
He's like okay, so he gives most of his power away to Mother Dark, right?
Is the most?
Well,
A lot of his
okay,
power is still kept in a Finis type object that rapes what's her name in book 2.
yes. So like, what is his? Is he just the god of all gods then? Because he's at least as powerful as other Zathani in the Book of the Fallen, and I assume that that's the least powerful we see him at, right? Because he's just out of the sword. He's and
I'm
Mother Dark
shrugging.
still exists. Yeah, exactly. So what's up with Draconis? Is he like oh God. Did he plan everything? Is that something that Draconis would do?
Who's Arathon's mother?
It was, yeah.
Is she
It's just that.
Nazathani? And I don't
Is
care what
Erethan
says.
Ruthan good?
Yes, that is definitely true. We're freaking finding that out.
Better.
Something. I'm going to read this real quick. Once, but no more, the old woman had replied, unable or unwilling to meet his eyes. Cast down at the time of the First Empire, which was not in truth the first. For the Talanimas claimed that title long before. They were the left hand, another sect the right hand, both guiding meant to be clasped instead. Those who would come to be unnamed in their journey into mysteries, she chopped with one hand, a gesture Mappa had not seen before among the tribe's elders. A gesture he realized was the start of a jag. Mysteries of another led them astray. They bound to a new master. That's all there is to say. What does that mean?
Your guess is as good as mine.
So we get a lot of First Empire history from Heboric, but it mostly comes in like bits and glimpses, and we don't really know. It's like a first reader reading Gardens of the Moon, right? We're just like, we don't know how to piece this stuff together. And then we also get these flashbacks from Mappo when the shoulder women and his group are talking about the First Empire, but why? And somehow the Imas in the First Empire are linked to the unnamed as well, because the unnamed are Imas, right? The
The
renegade
nameless
Imas.
ones?
Yeah,
Or are they?
I thought so.
I thought the nameless ones were just like a really long lasting cult, basically, that had built up around the Azath and thought they were manipulating things, but really they're just kind of
Well, if I'm
posers.
wrong, I'm editing this out. The English ones were an ancient cult who worshipped the Azath house. They considered themselves the hands of the Azath. Blah, blah, blah. Well, then, see, I think I was under the impression that the nameless ones were also the gods of the Toblakai.
Weren't those in Midnight Tides imprisoned in the Azath?
Those were the original gods of the Toblakai before, Ikariam told them to go, separate and do your own thing.
Oh, right, before they got
After that,
corrupted.
yeah, they
basically.
started worshiping the renegade Talani Mas, who was being chased by Lagana Breed and all those guys.
Some of them started doing that, and some of them split off and became the Bargus and Moranth, I believe. I think the Moranth
The
are part. No, I'm talking about the Toblakai.
I thought the Bargast were once Imas.
I think they're a fusion.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like, yeah. This is malazan.fandom.com right here. Oh yeah, there we go. From an early time, they dwelled among the Tarthano Toblakai, and interbreeding resulted in people taller, less squat, and with less pronounced facial features than their Emas forebears.
Sure.
Yeah, so they are Emas Toblakai hybrid.
Let's go back to the curled Emily and shattering. So I highlighted this quote from Iskarel. It says, the key to understanding lies in the unknown nature of warrens. Can they be torn into fragments? Oh yes, indeed. And that is the secret of Raraku. They wander more than one world, all unknowing and before us. What does that mean?
Warrens travel, whatever that means. I don't know. But like we do know that Ikariam wasn't like the initial shatterer of the Warren, right? He just kind of made it worse. Yeah. Which I don't understand how that
the Warren attached to the Azath house?
Yeah, like was it already attached and he just kind of damaged it further, or
This conversation means nothing. People are like, why the hell are we listening to these guys talk about stuff they don't know? Why are you listening to people talk about stuff they don't know about?
Okay, how about stuff we do know? There is we get a lot of foreshadowing that Toblakai is important. Karsa, we know he's Karsa. On initial read through, I wasn't very interested in him because I thought he was just like a brute guy. But yeah. We get pretty much everything we need to know about him. He says things, he does them. He didn't call from the witness, which I thought was a
He should have.
mistake. Yeah. Come on, Karsa. And we know that he chains the souls of the people he kills.
I thought he only
There we
did that
go.
after he forged his new sword.
No, Haborg noticed it. He's like, he has a bunch of
Yeah,
people gathered around him.
he has people following his souls, but I don't think he actually puts them into his sword until he makes the new sword.
No, he doesn't. He only puts his friends into the sword.
Not right.
Yeah.
He deserves it though. He killed lots of people. He's a bad guy.
He kills a lot of people, yeah.
He's really cool. He's a cool bad guy.
He's a cool.
I'm really interested to see how Panda reacts with Karsa.
I am too, because yeah, like he does some pretty horrible stuff in the first 200 pages of House of Chains, but he also goes through a lot of character development. And by the end of the book, like most people end up liking him, right?
Hmm. Like I have an acquaintance who started reading the book. He's on House of Chains, and I'm like, oh yeah, that book's about my favorite character in the series because Carson is my favorite character in the series, and it's like, please don't hold that against me, especially the first 200 pages. Like, don't judge me.
Yeah.
So
He's just a force of nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something that I kept on thinking throughout this book is, man, Hood is so misunderstood.
Yep.
I was feeling bad for the guy. Everyone's cursing his name, and man, he doesn't want to.
He's just doing
What
his
is the
job.
god of death supposed to do? You can't stop it.
He's not the one causing the deaths. That's everyone else, right?
Like,
He's just
you've read Discworld, right?
yeah.
People who have read Discworld know them.
But yeah, no, like I love Hood. Hood is one of my favorite characters. He's just okay. Sometimes I wonder like how many people he gives a personal greeting to. Like he greets Beak, right? And we get to see that happening. I'm just kind of like wondering if he does that more often.
I'm 90% sure that he's the Jaghut that Dweeker sees when he dies.
You think so?
I'm like, read it again. I know List was talking about the Jaghut ghost that was in it. I think that also could be Hood, but I'm not so certain about that one. And so Dweeker, if they are separate, I think Dweeker is just putting them together. But
Maybe.
I'm almost certain that's the face that greeted Dweeker when he died, and
I wouldn't
that
be
would
surprised.
really works as a bookend, right? So the book starts with Hood. I guess it didn't end with Hood, but yeah, that was near the end of the book.
hmm And then yeah, he's laughing, and Himpor can hear him laughing. But as we know, Jai got humor.
They left everything.
Yeah, I think he's really laughing to hide his pain there,
Hmm.
and that's a very Jagat thing to do.
Me too.
Yeah, I really don't like Corporal Adam.
Really, you don't like Corporal Adam?
I
I thought he was a really nice guy.
probably a controversial take in the.
he only like murdered 1,300 children, or tried to murder 1,300. Wait, no, that was that Dom? At the very least, he murdered a bunch of soldiers and put them on crosses.
After
Yeah, I
they'd
think that could have
surrendered.
been Dom that had killed those children.
Could have been.
I think it was.
I probably dislike him more than I dislike Malakrel.
Really?
Yeah,
That's a hot take. Why is that?
because like Malakrel, at least he's like honestly slimy about his intentions. Like
And Dom isn't?
Dom, he like pretends to be like an honorable guy, but then he stabs them in the back any chance he can get.
Malagrel literally, like, that applies to Malagrel.
Now, because Malagrel's like he has like mossy teeth, and he's like very clearly just
Oh yeah,
a
ugly people are
politician
evil.
guy. Yeah, exactly, right. And he's like a very politicking guy, and you like know that there's something off with him. But Corbola Dom's a soldier, like a fist of the Malazan armies, and he's like, "Oh, I'm so high and mighty. I'm Corbola Dom. I'm the best soldier ever."
Okay,
But
this is just a terrible take because nothing, absolutely nothing in this book from the time that Corbeil Adam was introduced gives us the impression that he isn't just a terrible thing.
oh no, like he's not portrayed very well, but he thinks of himself as like this
Uh,
guy, and we can see this a lot in Return of the Crimson Guard because he's a proper tool there, and we get to see a lot of him.
yeah, I think there's a slight character change between Deadhouse Gates, well, I should say, I guess, between House of Chains to Corbeil Adam and Crimson Guard Corbeil Adam. Because I think Esselmont kind of makes him into a buffoon. I'm not saying he's a smart guy, but I just don't think he was as stupid in Erickson's books as he is in Esselmont's. And I'm not
Maybe.
like blaming Esselmont for this because I mean we've talked about like authors seeing characters in different lights and writing them from certain different perspectives and therefore come off in different ways. And that's actually another point because most of the core below Dom interactions we see in the Crimson Guard were from Malakrel's point of view, and he probably just thinks he's an idiot.
Yeah, Malacrel is just using them the entire time, which I like. I have a little bit of respect for Malacrel for being, competent. I admire characters who are good at what they do.
I think I saw a meme once that what keeps people awake at night was the thought that Malakrel might actually be a decent emperor.
Yep. He might be better than Lazine. Who knows?
Oh, did I give my theory? Okay, I don't think I did. Um, so we get a lot of talk about the past of Aren and the Telanimas coming in and slaughtering everybody.
Hmm.
And nobody knows who actually gave the order because people thought it was Kellenved, and Dancer's like, no, it wasn't Kellenved, and he's like, it was Surly. Surly was there, but Surly doesn't have that power. She can't do that.
Yeah, right.
So
Only
my theory,
Killenved could have controlled the Tlani mass.
no, it was
You don't think so?
Dasim.
Dassam.
So yeah, the Talani Myth they kick out uh, Tool. He's no longer their number one guy, right? He's no longer the Force Sword because he's not the strongest, right? And the Yamas don't care if you're Yamas or not. You just got to be the strongest. And they make Dasim the first sword, and Dasim's not aware of it. So Dasim doesn't know the power that he has of the Yamas. I think he accidentally called uh, the slaughter on Aaron, and he didn't know it.
That is an intriguing thing. I can definitely see it.
I've not seen anybody else give that theory, but that's mine, and I sticking behind it.
I don't really like Dassam that much.
He's a sad boy.
He's a sad boy, but in terms of like really good swordsman in the series, I never found him very compelling. I do really like his introduction scene in Toll the Hounds, though. That is an excellent scene.
I like Dawson a lot, and I wish I knew more about his backstory and more than what's given in Path to Ascendance. And I want to know what actually happened with his daughter, and if the woman in the Path to Ascendancy is actually his daughter. And we saw her body, right?
I don't know.
I thought they saw her body in the Azath house.
Oh, was that? Oh, yeah, that was her. Yes. Sorry,
Okay.
I think so.
And we get no. It's like, oh, that's $1,000. I'm like, what? What now? Like,
What is she doing there?
could you tell us some more about this? Um, so I want to know exactly why Dawson and break up because all we know is people were like, oh yeah, so Hood like took his daughter and he was pissed. What does that mean?
Also, why was Dassam pledged to Hood in the first place?
Oh, have you read the Path to Ascendancy?
No.
You should. Like,
Okay. Does it explain that?
no, but it gives a lot more insight into Dawson. Like in the first book, they meet Dawson, and he's like a priest of Hood.
Hmm.
Is he a priest? He's sort of like high level dude. And he's a BA. Especially I like the first book a lot. I think the second book quite good too. Third book it had some pacing issues, like Return of the Crimson Guard, in my opinion.
Hmm.
But the opposite problem of Return of the Crimson Guard.
Oh, no. Crimson Guard, if you're going to have pacing issues, have pacing issues like Crimson Guard did.
Could you expand?
Good ending, bad start, essentially.
I just like I loved it. I actually really like the characters. I really like the world building. I like looking into the Crimson Guard. Uh, I just thought the whole thing felt a little bloated and disjointed.
Hmm.
Whereas in book 3 of Path of Ascendancy, it felt like he had like this much information. And he crams it into this much space. So it's like I said, the exact opposite problem.
Hmm.
But let's go back to Deadhouse Gates.
Let's go back to Deadhouse Gates, yeah. The book
We
we're
got,
talking about, ostensibly.
So we got Grub.
Did we?
Yeah, because we later learned that Grub is the child that Keneb takes through the gates, and I think it was the last person in the chain of dogs.
Huh. I thought he returned that to his grandparents and wouldn't be the...
I'm going to do some Googling Grub Malazan.
Because I thought so at first, too, but we get a scene where Keneb is going... He's like chasing after Duiker, and then he hears the word Gistal, and then he freezes. But he was going to tell Duiker that he returned a kid to his grandparents.
Oh, okay. I think that's someone else then. Editing that out. So I thought that he was literally the child that Keneb carried into the gates. And Keneb calls him Lass, which is not a boy.
Okay, the wiki now does say that he was placed in Keneb's care by another survivor, Duiker, the Imperial historian.
Well, let's give it a maybe.
Yeah, that might just be the wiki being wrong. I don't know. Okay, we'll see when we read House of Chains, I guess.
He's wrong sometimes.
Maybe. It is.
I'm tempted to just put this whole conversation unedited.
You know, I get the feeling that people who listen to this and actually enjoy it wouldn't mind. Because it's just, we're just rambling. That's all this is. Speaking of rambling.
Assuming that people actually listen to this and enjoy it.
There's got to be one person at least, right? Hello, guy or girl. Thank you for listening. So we get basically told Liamon's story here. And like it's just like that he's actually just faking his faith and he doesn't believe in anything and don't trust him. And yeah, in the end he kind of just abandons people to die, his entire army. I didn't think he was going to do that, but I guess it was foreshadowed enough.
Yeah, I really like Liamon as a character. His character actually comes back in some of the later Esselmont books. It's pretty cool.
I believe that.
Yeah. But I mean, what he did was wrong, right? But he wins.
I guess. Like, what does he win though? Like,
okay, so he
gets a lot of people killed in horrible ways.
But he was in an unwinnable fight, and he did what it took. He did what it took, right? Okay, I'm just gonna say it out there. I recently saw a video by Raf. Do you know Raf?
No.
He's the blind German guy who does YouTube LazTube. He's awesome. Raf, if you're listening, I love you. And he was actually given a small defense of Liam and like I don't like Liam because of what he did, but like I get it. Especially for someone so faithless and somebody so tired of all of these fanatics.
I mean, did get them killed.
if he could convince these people to kill themselves for like nothing, I mean, I could understand being irritated by those kind of people. Not to the obviously not to the point of wishing them dead, but like I mean, it's really frustrating being around those kind of people.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think there are many examples. Some of them fairly obvious today of like bad people who have very fervent supporters, and those people like have absolute contempt for the people who support them. And Lehman's kind of like that, except for he's not really a populist. He kind of just had the army fall into his lap after Pelisson was gibbed.
In Raph's video, he also points out that he's the only guy that actually consistently beat Tavor. I mean, he beat Tavor at Yugatan, and he beat her a few times in the battle, well, the skirmishes, right? Leading up to Yugatan, which when has anybody else ever beaten Tavor?
I think in a fair fight, whatever that means, Tavor would beat him, but
All's
I don't
fair
know,
and
no way of
war
knowing.
and those other things.
Love and War.
I didn't talk about it in the episode, in the regular episode, but I wish I did. I actually really appreciated the romance with Vanilla and Kalam, and Crocus and Absolar.
I'm not sure I would call Crocus and Absolar a romance yet.
Really? Why not?
Because
it's a cute puppy love.
It's not really reciprocated. It's mostly just Crocus chasing after her, and her like.
I disagree. You gotta read between the lines, man.
I think she does develop feelings for him, but I don't think they're quite there at this point.
It's the love story of our generation. Beautiful.
Oh man, I hope not. No, the real love story is between Iskarel Pust and Mugora.
I might get some hate for this. I don't like their bickering. Like, I like Iskarel Pust. I think he's funny, but like this usually like an old people humor where just like, oh man, my wife is so annoying. I roll my eyes all the time. I hate it.
I just like it because they obviously love each other.
Like, there's a lot of really funny lines between the two, but like, I can't get behind the humor where someone's just like, oh man, I hate my wife, or I hate my husband.
I agree that is tiresome.
You know that guy who got his face bit off? He shows back up in Bone Hunters. Remember the girl horse? He doesn't have a name, I don't think.
Oh,
the girl horse the fiddler has, and he bit off that guy's face.
Huh.
Yeah. When we're in the Bow Hunters, I'm gonna bring it up because like Absolar beats him, and he kind of gets like a redemption, like a small redemption arc with Absolar. It's kind of cool. And I believe the little girl that they save is also not the one Fiddler saves, but the group. She also shows up with Absolar's Wandering Seven Seasons. Which I think is fun. Did you notice that one of the epigraphs had there's a Tobel guy saying, but it says like "Death will be my bridge." Like we literally see a bridge of death later on. I thought that was cool.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about the holds?
What about them?
I don't know. They're kind of introduced in this book, and we're just like, hey, what's that? And we got some tiles too. And we're like, hey, that's cool. What is that? So we stop talking about it now.
So the holds, I think the holds are really cool. I'll probably have more to say about them in my Night Hides, but the way the magic system is layered in this series, I find fantastic. I love it. And I love how we see the beginning of the next layer at the end.
The wards and holes are cool, but I really like the warlike magic and the more like shamanistic.
Absolutely, the one that's not linked to any constraint really. It's just
it's not
of the land.
It's not a warren,
yeah. No, I agree. Whenever that kind of magic shows up, I love it. Like in Reaper's Gale, when you have the I don't remember the tribal people fighting against the Lethari, and they have their first confrontation. Love that battle scene.
I think a lot of first-time readers don't really notice that there are different kinds of magic, right? So I mean, didn't.
To be fair, he does tell us. He's like, this is old magic that we'd forgotten because we were just using warrens the entire time.
Yeah, but how much stuff just goes over your head because you don't know what they're talking about?
Yeah. I mean, it's just throwing spaghetti at the wall and you see what sticks.
And then I don't think we've even seen it yet, but like, have we seen blood magic?
I don't think so.
Yeah, because that's how.
Well, we sort of do. Like in
That's
Gardens
how
of the
Rel
Moon,
gets his stuff done.
Cruel is resurrected through blood.
Right.
And like blood goes a long way. If you spill like a little bit of blood, that's equal to many, many prayers, basically. And we get hinted at that with Gistal.
Like, I wanted to tell them like what Gestal meant, but like the only explanation I believe we get for Gestal is in the uh, glossary of bone hunters.
We also get a bit of it in Return of the Crimson Guard, no?
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about the big books,
Oh, in the big books, yeah.
which I think it's kind of mean.
I remember looking it up because I was just so confused as to what it meant. And it's not a big secret. It's just a guy who does blood sacrifices.
I think that could have been included in this book's glossary.
I think it could have been included in this book's text. That would have been fine. Just like have like a reference to Malacrel sacrificing people, because never actually get to see him do it. I don't think.
I agree.
It just said that he does it, and
That
I
was,
think
that
it
was,
would have been, yeah.
That was some of my favorite parts of the Return of the Crimson Guard, where he's doing his magic and he's talking with Mail, and Bug's just like, "Man, I hate you."
I hate you, but I have to keep working with you. And eventually he gets to tell him to screw off, but
That was
I'm
cool.
not seen enough.
Do you want to talk about Habork?
What about Habork?
Everything about Habork, man. Name one thing more confusing in this series than Habork.
Oh man, I can try and think, but I think Habork is the one. Because like, okay, there are characters that have, I don't know. There's characters like Devor who like you never get inside their heads, and they're always kept at a distance. You never really get to see what's going on with them, but you can kind of guess in retrospect what was going on the entire time. But Habork is just, why was he picked? I don't. Is it just because he was the one that was available, or?
I'm gonna keep my eyes up in this read. Yeah, I'm sure it has something to do with him formerly being the near destriant of Fenner, and then there's probably a lot of chance. I mean, who would know that he was that close to a jade statue, and that touching the jade statue with his Fennery hands would link him to the crippled god, and then like he would also have yeah. I don't think anybody could have predicted that. Which I believe Niflrog does a video about that. I could be wrong.
Nilfgaard? Maybe.
Do you watch his stuff?
No. I am
Fantastic.
really bad at watching Malaz recently because I want to keep my opinions original.
I got no problems
stealing other people's
ideas. I try to resource them with reference.
Reference them, yeah.
I try to give references when I remember it.
Or citations. Those also work.
Sure. It's late.
I wonder. So, when he touches the statue the first time, does he get a sense of there being people inside there? I wonder.
I think so.
Yeah.
And
then
reread it.
He starts getting dreams about it in Bone Hunters, I want to say.
Dreams about the people, maybe. So he touches it, right? And then he gets a fever. Mm-hmm. And then like he almost dies. So I think that was when there was like some sort of internal struggle in him between the power of the crippled god and the power of the Fenner.
And Odotarl.
Where does the Odotarl come in?
Okay. So I actually don't know if Odotarl even works on the crippled god's magic.
It's from out of this world.
Yeah. Because we know Odotarl doesn't work on Elder Warrens. And I don't know what the cutoff there is, because I don't know if it works on Talon. I know it doesn't work on Curled Glane. I know it definitely doesn't work on Starvald Demolane.
It doesn't work on Talon.
It doesn't? Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't work on Jack Omtel's Falak either.
Odotarl's weird, man.
Well, it's caused it from a gigantic magicness, usually like a big battle or a war, right?
Yeah.
And it's just
Was
yeah.
it caused by the crippled god's fall, or?
Maybe? I don't think so.
And I
I think
wonder
it's
how.
linked to some of the events.
Okay, and I wonder how Korobos, the Odotarl dragon, fits in with all this. Was she Odotarl before Odotarl existed, or was she Odotarl? I don't know. What's up with her?
So the Ototaro Island was, I think it might have been created during the fall of the Crippled God. And no, I'm just talking my ass. I forgot. I've read some lore deep dives into it, and I can't remember. We should invite Niflorog to come talk to us. He knows
That'd be fun.
everything. I'm just trying to think of stuff to talk about.
I'm wondering, so the Malazan Empire has presumably Odotarl stockpiles, but we only ever really see the Odotarl sword that the adjunct gets.
Yeah, where does it all go? We don't ever see them use it, like Ototaro
Mhm.
Dust, or
Exactly.
we should ask
So,
Steve.
yeah, that's a big question mark for me. I mean, it's a great place to send your mages.
It was cool in this book that we got a pretty big clue that Calor's empire later became the Imperial Warren.
Oh,
Did you miss that? Kalam was walking through the Imperial Warren, and he finds like a symbol. He's thinking back. He's like, "Man, I saw this symbol in Genovakis, with the
yeah,
Kaladin bird." He's
I
like,
remember that.
This is Calor's," and
Yeah.
that was it. Like he didn't say anything after that, but I thought that was cool.
We do have enough to guess that was Calor's empire at this point, then.
Is that enough?
Because Calor gave his speech, or no, there's the epigraph, I think, that Calor is bragging to Kaladin Brood, and Brood's like, "Oh yeah, you never learn."
I don't think that's enough. I don't think it's
I
enough for
think
anybody to put together.
it's
Or
someone.
maybe
If someone,
Valistad book.
yeah, maybe Christine could do it. Oh man, I always, when rereading this is my third time rereading Deadhouse Gates. I always get frustrated at Bowden for protecting Felison, because Felison could have been gilded too. And I just want everyone to be gilded, because I don't know what gilding means, but it's cool.
Eric said it leads you to believe that, like, maybe they got special powers, but like
Bowden's burns to death.
nothing comes of it. So, like, Truth thinks he's fireproof. Truth later dies. Bowden thinks he's fireproof. Bowden later dies. I mean, Gessler and Stormy, they get like gilded, and that supposedly leads them closer to ascendancy. But like, what comes of it?
They're able to row more.
Oh, yeah, Rowan power increase +1.
Yep. They're also like stronger and stuff like that, but
why gild? What,
I don't know.
it's gotta have some sort of meaning, right?
You would think that they would have some kind of like fire or light magic because of it, because they're going through curled Leosin.
Eberlon? Where did they go through Leosin?
That was the Warren of Fire.
No, that was Talon.
I don't know, because they're chased by the Tist Leosin afterwards, because they stole some of their power in House of Chains.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But they do go into Talon, right? Because they're following Olar Ethel.
Well, Olar Ethel can just go wherever she wants.
Yeah, but she's she went to Talon. We both know this.
I don't think she did. I don't think, like, it's not on screen.
Well, why fire? Why did they say fire instead of light?
Leosin is firelight aspected, I guess. Because the first time we get a Leosin in the series in Karkanos, it is because of fire. It's Hunral having
fire.
sex. Yeah. Which is Olar Ethel, by the way.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah, so Olar Ethel, she can go where she wants.
Oh man, I never thought about that.
She just wants to screw with Draconis, really.
No, I still think they're in Talon. I'm not saying they didn't go into Leosin because they could have, but I mean, Warren of Fire. When have you ever? No, it's Talon. They went to Talon.
No,
They
it's
could have.
Leosin.
They also went to Leosin. Like they probably went through a bunch of Warrens.
Yo, listener, yes, you.
Or
Tweet at Green Team Pod and tell Huron he's wrong.
I mean, you could tell
Send
Ash
us-
he's wrong too.
Send us emails.
How
Welcome
would
to
the
this
email us?
I don't.
We don't have an email.
We have an email, don't we?
Do we? I don't
I
think
think
we've
so.
told anybody what it is. I think Panda runs it.
Yeah, Panda and Kit probably know what it is, and no one else.
I mean,
Or
I
just
have
hop on the
access to
Discord.
it,
And you can tell us we're wrong. And
yeah, we shouldn't tell people to use our email or Twitter. Come to the Discord.
use them
where
all,
it's at.
actually.
Yeah, Panda will be happy. I hate Twitter though. I don't remember where because I didn't take notes on it, but I said we got some clues about the aspect of Ikarium's Warm. Maybe just clues as to like him building time stuff.
I think him building time stuff is him trying to fight the chaos within him because he's linked to chaos.
It's like deep, man.
Yeah, super deep. And it's interesting that Gothos, he's kind of given up on Ikarium at this point, but all Ikarium needed was the aerosol to kind of heal him.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Yeah. And like Gothos, like, come on, did you not know that? He thinks he knows everything.
Gathos thinks he knows everything. I'm gonna try to slip that into like every single episode we say.
That's
They think they know.
That's what I've been doing. And you can just like hear the frustration in Yasmina's voice.
I love that messing with him. What was it when they were talking about pasta?
Mm.
You were saying the opposite thing last week. Like, was I? Do you think that?
Yeah, it's always fun to get to ask vague sounding questions.
What do you
Then you
think
get to
about
sound
this?
smart. Yeah.
How do you interpret this?
Chains, you know.
Oh man, there was something else I wanted to say. Well, do you have anything else?
We get a lot of mentions of chains in this book.
Lots of chains.
And,
chains of dogs.
yeah.
Ellison and chains. Allison
Usually-
chains.
Yeah. Dancer chains.
Oh yeah, the chains of humanity.
Healing. Yeah. So chains are used both positively and negatively here.
Yeah.
And foreshadowing, Crippled God, he's not all that bad.
Maybe not. I'm interested. Unfortunately, listeners, if you don't know, Yasna's has been spoiled for the end of the series.
Oh, that's so lame.
Yeah, I agree. It sucks, man. Yeah, but I'm interested to see how what Panda thinks about the Crippled God.
I envision she will have many interesting thoughts, as she usually does.
She's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad she can't listen to this episode. She'll hear me saying nice things about her. Oh yeah, so we just recorded yesterday the Murderbot book, and I actually got to slip in that line yesterday. It's like he thinks he knows.
He thinks he knows.
Or it thinks it knows.
It's important to remember.
Yeah.
I think every time I bring it up, it's because someone's interpreting something wrong. I think.
I'm doing it just to throw him off too.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't.
This is like part of like what I love about the series, because like you have to do that. Like most series, a character tells you something. If it's world building, 95% sure it's going to be the truth, and like the objective truth in the world.
A lie, and it was really important that it was a lie, and it was only there to like throw off the main character.
Exactly, and this is just like people just get it wrong because the world is really complicated. And like no one kind of sat down with the Azathanai, who also don't know everything, and just kind of like hashed things out.
They think they
Like
know everything.
exactly, they're just guessing. It's excellent. And then like as readers, we kind of like get to like piece things together and like compare differing people's opinions and take a little bit from each and build a more cohesive frame of the world that's probably still incorrect in many ways.
I'm sure we got a lot of stuff wrong. Please come to our Discord and tell us.
Yes.
Are you when we're recording? Do you ever get scared that you're giving too much away, or that you're not giving enough away? So I always think about after we record, like, man, should I have said that, or should I have said this?
I just kind of,
Except for that one time where you totally spoiled Culp dying.
and then Panda didn't even notice. It's just a shame that she was editing the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. But yeah, I just kind of play off of Panda because she's pretty good at letting us know what she thinks, and yeah, I think she's an excellent stand-in for a first time. Okay, she's an excellent first time reader, and basically, what I think she notices is what most people are going to have noticed.
She noticed more than I did.
Yes, it's the most that you can expect someone to have noticed on their first read, is what I'll say.
Except for Christine.
Well, Christine's like reading it
She's
like
like a
so
god.
detailed. Yeah, no, like she's like really getting into it. And if you go like that level of detail, then obviously you're going to notice like a bunch more stuff. And she's also just good at this sort of thing. But like if you're just reading the book as a book, then you're going to notice a lot less.
I think that was my problem the first time I read it. I'm just like, I was expecting like wheel time. Like, yeah, things will be repeated over and over again, and I don't have to remember anything. I mean, you know how wheel time is.
Yeah.
Since
Wheel of
we
Time
have
is
time
just,
here,
yeah,
for our listeners, shall we talk about like other stuff we like? If they care.
if you want.
Okay. We're both fans of Wheel of Time. I mean, Ashaman's name is Ashaman.
Yes.
My name is Hurinfan, although it's not after Hurin in Wheel of Time. It's after Hurin from the Tales of Turin Bar, because Hurin is a BA
In the Middle Earth. For those who
Oh
don't.
yeah, in case you didn't catch that, it's Middle Earth. But if you didn't catch that, what kind of plebe are you?
All right, come on. Have you not read the Legendarium? Shame on you. Shame on everybody who hasn't read all of J.R.R. Tolkien's works.
Yes, I love Tolkien. I like Sanders, Branderson.
I kind of feel like I'm outgrowing Brandon. I don't know. That's just
I
there.
got that feeling lately for you. I still like I love his stuff a lot. It's more like Robert Jordan in that he repeats himself a lot, but his writing style is quite simple. I just
Randall Thor is one of my all-time favorite characters.
That's great.
I'm just gonna say that he is possibly my favorite main protagonist in a series.
I love Terry Pratchett. Everything Terry Pratchett's written.
Terry Pratchett, excellent. Right now, I'm reading a book called Blindsight, and I'm very hopeful about that. So far, it is. Yeah, Eridandus recommended it to me, and so far, it is excellent. It's about a man with half a brain.
Wow.
And it's hard sci-fi, and that's all I'll say. Oh, and he's a meme manager.
A meme manager?
Yeah, not in the internet meme kind of way, but like the more general definition of meme as just kind of like an idea that is passed like a virus from person to person.
I'm a big fan of the Malazan Book of the Fallen. Have you ever heard of it?
No, I've heard it's actually really bad and misogynistic.
Yeah, it sucks.
There are female characters that sometimes bad things happen to. And I get the feeling that's Steven Erickson saying he hates women.
I hope this comment doesn't age.
I'm sure it will.
In case you're wondering, listeners from the future, this week there was a major minor controversy on BookTube.
A minor controversy that blew out of proportion. Stupid.
Yeah, people attacking baseless accusations and BS.
Stupid.
That's all we'll say.
I like the Black Company.
Oh, the Black Company's great. I
If
like
you've
Dresden.
read this, if you read this series, you probably like the Black Company because Erickson took a lot of inspiration from Black Company.
See, a lot of people have been reading the Black Company because they like Malazan, and they haven't been enjoying it as much.
I think Malazan's better.
Oh, I mean that's obviously
in pretty
true.
much every way. Yeah.
But I think it kind of depends on what you like about Malazan, what you're expecting. Like, for example, Andy. I think recently Andy, I read the booktuber. He's great, and he reviewed the first three books. No, the first book maybe. No, it's maybe the first three books. He liked them, but like he didn't love it because of like the writing style. And the writing style changes a lot over the 10-book series.
Mm-hmm.
But like, not everybody likes it.
I will say I've only read the first three books, but
it gets better in my opinion.
I believe that. I really like the story of the lady, is what I'll say.
She's really good. I like the.
That is an excellently written character.
Who is the girl that wrote later? Oh, you don't know her, so no, I won't say. Wait, the story of the lady? You've only read the first three books, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Right. Almost spoiled something.
Oof.
Well, I think I'm going to go to bed now.
Okay. Well, everybody, thank you for listening to our ramblings for however long this was. If it's unedited, then it's about 90 minutes.
I'm probably going to take out like next to nothing. I'm being serious.
Excellent. And
let's see how they enjoy it.
If we have any takes you disagree with, let us know, because we would love to argue with you about them. Hashtag Malacrel did nothing wrong.
Oh, come on. No.
Gotta stir up some controversy. Here, let's see if I can come up with some controversial takes for this book. Oh yeah, okay. Let's see. Fellison is a badly written character. Discuss. Or Coltane, overrated. He deserved what he got. Nethpara, best character in the novel.
Okay. Good. Happy Easter. Talk to you later.
Yeah. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Music is Galactic Damages by Jingle Punks.